Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, but I've certainly missed you all. Here's to the new setup. So as you can see, the camera's a little bit different and I'm going to hopefully improve the quality of some of my videos coming out. So I hope you guys enjoy. So let's just get into the video. Today I'm going to show off my Pokemon Go collection. As you can see here, me looking down on my phone, you guys on the screen. I am level 44 currently, and my username is CuriousCalebYT. Selfish plug, definitely. And my buddy at the moment is my 100% shiny Marwile. I am not going too fast, but I will just ignore that. So yeah, my Marwile is my buddy because I'm hoping that we'll get the Mega for it soon. So, getting into my stats, total activity. We've got distance walked. I've walked 9,400 kilometers and I'm hoping to get to 10,000 kilometers by the end of the year. Might not be a lot for some, but 1,000 kilometers in a year is a fairly far distance. I've caught 81,020 Pokemon. I'll hope to try and get to 100,000 this year. I've visited 42,000 Pokestops as you can see, and my start date, that's the one I wanted you all to pay attention to. 7th of the 7th, 2016. So I remember playing the game when it first came out, sitting at a friend's table and waiting for the servers to come back on because they kept crashing all the time. And I might show a graphic of what the screen used to look like when we used to have server problems and no one could even play the game. Here we have my medals. Most of the ones that you see at the top are event medals. So as I'm scrolling through, you've got my Legacy 40, so achieve level 40 by December 31st, 2020. And I've got a kind of a cool story about that you'll be able to see later on in the video. So swiping across, I've got the 2021 GoFest, GoFest 2022, most of these the remote ones. Haven't been lucky enough to go to any in-person big event GoFests as of yet. Yeah, I went tour. So I've only got 9 platinum medals, as you can see. But I'm pretty proud of the platinum medals I do have, especially this one. Great League Veteran is something that I'm very proud of, and why wouldn't I be? I've done 5,451 wins in the Great League, so certainly no pushover when it comes to PvP, but I haven't really taken it that seriously for a while. So I've got my idol, my best buddy, platinum badge, only 30, my Pokemon Ranger one, and then the typical ones you'd sort of see if you are trying to get platinum medals. So completed Hoenn, Gym Leader, completed Johto, Skull Across Past Scientist, Collector, I've collected 81,000 Pokemon, and Kanto, 151, the original 151. Here we've got some of the gold medals. I'm not going too fast, must be a lot of GPS drift. So Jogger is the closest to getting platinum, and I'm aiming for 10,000 kilometers by the end of the year. It shouldn't be too difficult, but you never know, I might break my leg and something I probably shouldn't think about. So on Breeder, I try and stay free to play when I can, so I usually only incubate 1 egg at a time. I've got Backpacker, lots of Pokestops, Sightseer, Fisher, this is Battle Girl, that's a very interesting one. Ace Trainer. This was a bit of a hard one to do back in the day. No, it wasn't. It was the opposite. I've got the Pikachu fan. I've got the Berry Master. This is certainly a badge I wanna try and get platinum, but it's not a very quick one. You have to take a lot of time. Gentleman. So with the Pilot badge, back in 2017 when Pokemon couldn't be traded, couldn't be remote raided, the only way to get Pokemon from far away was to actually travel the world, which I think was a great idea. I was fortunate enough to go to Europe back in 2017, and I brought back a bunch of Mr. Mimes to Australia. So looking at my Pilot badge, you can see it's at 2.2 million. But a lot of those were actually from the Mr. Mimes that I traded when trading did eventually come back. Got Sinnoh, I'm only missing 5 Pokemon from Sinnoh. It's probably Manaphy and some of those Pokemon. Ultra League, Master League. But yeah, most of my badges aren't super impressive, but I thought I'd show them off anyway. To finish off this section, I'd like to show you my type badges. I would have thought by now that I'd have platinum in all of them, but as you can see, I'm only 9 away from the Dragon Platinum medal, and I've done my fair share of Dragon type community days, but I just don't seem to catch enough. So there you have it. As you can all see here, I've got 2,500 Pokemon exactly and 2,800 space. For a while I started just buying more space instead of clearing Pokemon because I was a bit lazy, but I'm sure I could get it down and probably get rid of another 300, but that's neither here nor there. At the top you can see Groudon, Kyogre and Mewtwo, the big hitters, and I'm very excited to show off my Groudon, my shiny 98% best buddy. And the awesome thing about this Groudon was it was only my second ever Groudon raid, so I got super lucky. And I'm not lying about the 98%, I've marked it, I just like to write them as their nicknames too. If we swipe across to the next one, we've got my 91% lucky Kyogre, who I've also primal reverted. My 91% Psystrike Shadow Mewtwo, that's one I'm very happy I have. My lucky 96% Metagross, and this was caught during, this was traded I should say, during one of the Make Up Beldum community days back in the day. I think we got about 3 because of how bad the server stuff was. Here we've got my first lucky Mewtwo. So this was before Lucky Friends existed, so I had to trade 20 times with someone to try and get this Mewtwo, and it only ended up being a measly 84%. That's a shame, but I still have it anyway. Got my lucky Dialga. For a while I liked catching luckies, or trading for them I should say. I've got my lucky Rayquaza, my not lucky Tyranitar. So here's some of my raid Pokemon. Another Tyranitar, my 98%. I'm gonna Mega Evolve him when we get the chance. And my lucky Hundo Palkia. This is one I'm very proud of. And this was just from a regular legendary trade. No luckies, no best buddy friends at the time. We just lucked out and I managed to get this awesome Pokemon. I've got my shiny Reshiram, and I managed to get this on my first ever remote raid for Reshiram, so I got lucky and stopped there. And my lucky Zekrom. I'm sure I'm saying lucky quite a lot. So as we scroll down a bit, I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but we've got my shiny 90% Metagross, my Hundo Togekiss, and sort of the higher CP Pokemon. So the next part in the video is my shinies. I'm sure lots of you love collecting shinies. So I've shown some of these before in the first part of the video, but you'll get to see them in a bit more detail. So I've got my Meltan, super grateful to have that. My Ho-Oh, my lucky Moltres. I actually have a shiny lucky of all the original legendary birds, which I think is really cool that I have that. Got Aggron, my Mewtwo. Oh, I've got a couple Mewtwo's actually that are shiny. So here we have a lucky one, and 3 shiny Mewtwo's that I have, I got back to back during a raid hour. It was probably one of the most exciting things I'd ever done in Pokemon Go because I was with friends, and getting one shiny Mewtwo is pretty cool, but getting 3 in a row, that's just something else. So we've got my Steelix that I use for Master League, and I Mega him at the moment. He's double moved, and I'll get into some of those later on. I've got my Shundo Deoxys. I can't believe I have this, and I think it's awesome. So we've got some other ones. As you can see, I've nicknamed a couple Pokemon that I haven't traded away to people, but I'm not sure if some of my friends still want them, so I might have to ask them after this video. I've got a couple shiny Suicunes. These shiny Gengars were during the raid day that they had way back when. I think back in 2018? Yeah, that's right. some more shiny Deoxys. That was during the Deoxys raid day. Very fortunate to get lots of those. And then we have a bunch of my PvP shinies that I will talk about later on in the video. But for now, I'm just going to go by number. And I'll do a quick scroll through so you guys can all see which awesome Pokemon that I have shiny. So I've got Gen 1, I've got Arcanine, Fat Load, the shiny Graveler, bit of a immature name, but what's the fun in nicknaming your stuff, your Pokemon boring names. I've got Rhydon that I'm going to talk about a bit later. Magikarp, Ditto, Eevees, lots and lots of shiny Eevees. And yes, I have transferred a couple to Pokemon Go, to Pokemon Home, I mean. Dratini, and here are the shiny legendary birds I was talking about earlier. So Dratini, the shiny Mewtwo's I got, Totodile, Hoppip, so Gen 2. Here we have so many Teddiursa, and I will probably get rid of a lot of these and send them straight to Pokemon Home. Kingdra, Smeagol, Hitmontop, one that I was quite happy to get, and I've named it Yay because I was so excited. Got the Suicunes, I've got 3 shiny Lugias, and my friend Aaron, I think he still hasn't tried to take it off me, but I've still got it there for him just in case. I've got the Hoenn Pokemon, lots of Zigzagoons. So the funny thing with Sableye is I went from having none and really wanting a shiny to getting too many of them. We've got Arons, we've got Electrike, Roserade, Gulpin, a shiny Pokemon that I was glad to get during Hoenn Tour, and I almost didn't get it because I got it on the second day and I almost didn't go out to get it. Got Cradily and Leap. Glalie from a trade that I'm gonna Mega Evolve. Got lots of Metagross, my Deoxys. And I've got the Gen 4 Pokemon. I've got a Bonsley. I'm not sure why I called him Mr. 26, but so Gible, Skorupi. Now this Lucario is shiny. It's terribly ranked, but some very kind person in my community was happy enough to trade me one because she ended up getting 3 of them, so I was quite fortunate to get that. The Evolutions, 2 Giratinas. I think I only did 4 raids and I managed to get 2 of them, so very happy with that. Another shiny with Yay, Munna. So looking through more of my collection, we've got some Gen 5 shinies, Woobat, Cinccino, that was during an event. There's been lots of events over the years, can't keep track of them all. Litwick, Comday, Tangerine, my shiny Heatmore, and I'll tell you more about him later, so stay tuned. Chespin, Comday, the Inkay Research Day I think there was, Noibat, Xerneas. I did so many raids to try and get this shiny Xerneas, and I was originally going to send it to Pokemon Home, but I decided I'm going to keep it in Pokemon Go for now. So Stuffle, and then I've got 4 shiny Meltans. One of them was traded to me, but the fact that I have 4 shiny Meltans and planning on using one for each PvP league, I think that's pretty unique in my collection. So, moving on to my double moved Pokemon. This is part of the video that I'm super excited to show everybody. So, I've got it in Dex order at the moment, so I might change that to Combat Power. And as you can see, Groudon at the top. But I have 256 Pokemon that I have put double moves on. And to show that I'm not lying, I will show you my Dragonite, and it has Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, and Superpower. If I swipe across my Giratina. It's got Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw, and Shadow Sneak. So I did some calculations, some mathy math on this, because I've been wanting to know for years how much Stardust have I used just on double moving my Pokemon, and show you in a clean, easy, understandable way, I have made an infographic. So 11.18 million Stardust just on second moves. That's not even including Pokemon being powered up. So I've certainly used a lot of Stardust during my time playing Pokemon Go. I'm sure people have used a lot more than me, but I still think 11 million is quite a lot. So as you can see, I'll scroll down just to show you some of my PvP Pokemon. And even if they're not the best ranked, like this cast form, because it was shiny, I really wanted to use it for a cup, so I did it anyway. Speaking of PvP, I used to do Silph battles back in the day, and I'll throw a graphic up now. I'm sure you guys know what the Silph arena is, but if you don't, it's a really awesome online community for battles, and this was before Go Battle League, so we were able to battle with people from across the world before Pokemon Go and Niantic implemented it themselves. And I think I got my love of battling PvP when these guys first showed up. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, how many battles has Caleb done in Go Battle League to be able to power this many Pokemon up? Well, I've won 4,371 battles, and I have battled 8,556 times. That's a lot. And as you can see here, the 9.6 million Stardust I've earned, I've spent it all on double moves and then some. So as we can see, we've got some oddballs here, like Scavalier, Dedenne, Greedent. I've got my Goodra. I haven't used Goodra for a while in Great League, but here we are. We've got the PvP IVs. We've got a Legacy Parasect, and it's ranked 176. Holland Park in Queensland. So that's pretty cool that it's a Legacy. I think it's Legacy Bug Bite. We've got Golden Child. Oh, I remember Licky Tongue. He took forever to walk. 444 kilometers to get those XLs. And it was definitely worth it because he was so much fun to use. We've got Cresselia. Raichu with the Ash Hat. So yeah, I've got lots of double move Pokemon. Oh, here we have a rank 1 Swallow. So that's what a rank 1 Swallow looks like. We've got Shadow Alola Ninetales. It's a recent catch. Decidueye. Whimsicott. I've had lots of fun using Whimsicott. Alolan Raticate. Now, I've spent only 10,000 to power him up, well, to second move him. But to power him up, he was almost 500,000 dust. That's a lot of dust. So we've got some Community Day Pokemon. We've got Chestnut. We've got Torterra. A lucky 89% PvP Torterra. Yeah, that's cool. I've got another rank 1 Pokemon to show off. Pignite. So that's what a rank 1 Pignite looks like. And some really unique Pokemon. So Levani, I've only got one of these, but I made sure the one that I was going to evolve was going to be my PvP one. And of all of them, I got a rank 17, so that's really cool. And we've got Kangaskhan, a regional shiny, and it's good PvP IVs, so that's even cooler. We've got Regirock, Swirless, Clefable. Here we have Mark and Crobat and all these really cool Pokemon with second moves that I've been able to use in PvP over the years. Got a shiny Snorlax, and I'm sure lots of people would like to have this one. So, funny story with Celebi is when it first came out, I powered it up, but I powered it up past 1500, so I had to wait until we got another Celebi to even be able to do anything with it for PvP. So I primarily do Great League, as you can probably tell, because most of these Pokemon are 1500 CP or below. But to have a shiny Celebi and being able to battle with it, I think that's really awesome. And here we are at the end of my double move Pokemon. I've made a tag group for all my Pokemon that I try to Mega Evolve. I think that's Mega Evolving Pokemon was one aspect of Go that I didn't know existed because I was playing casually for quite a while, and it's made me come back to it and really appreciate being able to use the Pokemon that you already have but make them even stronger by raiding them with Mega Energy. So here we have a couple of lucky Megas. Most of my Megas, if they're 90% or higher, I'm going to power them up and turn them into a Mega if I can. So I've got my Gardevoir, I've got my Gengar. He's the closest to level 3. I've only got to do him 9 more times. And then we've got my Latios, Aggron, Swampert, Charizard. I've got my Hundo Gyarados. And as I go out of it, here we can see Steelix that I talked about before. I've got Sceptile and Aerodactyl. And of course all the Megas aren't out currently. We're still missing a couple. So I've also tagged some Pokemon that are going to get Megas in the future. And this is where I'm really excited for. My best buddy Marwile, my shiny lucky Hundo. It's also going to be best buddy at some point, and it'll be a Mega. So I'm super excited for that. And as you can see, I'm not lying. But yeah, and I'm also quite excited for Mega Ordino, even though it's probably going to be useless. It's still a Mega, I think, really awesome looking. I'll show a picture of it on the screen if some of you don't know what it looks like. In my 6 years of playing Pokemon Go, I think tags are a very underappreciated mechanic that they've added to the game. So here you can see I've got so many different Pokemon that I'd like to show you, but trying to find them all individually without tags would have been so difficult to find. So here we have my best buddy queue. So these are a lot of Pokemon that are really cool, sort of trophy Pokemon that I want a best buddy. So we've got my 100% Glasses Pichu that I hatched. This is one of my favourite hatches ever, and from 2018. I think that's so cool. And then we've got Blastoise also with glasses, 100%. And here I even Mega Evolved him. And speaking of 100%, my Flareon. This was my very first Hundo back in 2016. Back when you couldn't even check for Hundo. So I don't know how I lucked out and managed to keep that without transferring it, but it's still in my account. So if we move on to regionals, these are all the regionals, and I'll go by Dex number that I currently have. So most of these have been from trades, but I have caught Kangaskhan and Mr. Mime in their actual region, and some of the Pokemon that have been swapped around, obviously. So I've got Seviper and Lunatone. I've named this Torkoal Victor because I did a trade with someone called Victor, and that probably doesn't sound that exciting, but he had to go back to Malaysia, and I managed to organise a trade with him the day before, and he had to go back to the airport, and I managed to trade with him 10 minutes before he had to leave. So I hold a very special place in my heart for this Torkoal. As we can see, we've got Mime Jr. and the monkeys and Tangerine. So this was caught during GoFest. I really wanted a shiny Heatmore, and I jumped like a whole meter in the air when I found one, but I wanted a lucky one to make it even more special. So I lucky traded with a friend, and I managed to get him shiny. Shiny for shiny, I should say. and I best buddied him recently. So that's all my regionals. I've got this tag, Dust Devourers. This is probably a million dust just from these 5 Pokemon with double moves and powering them up. I'm sure many people that have played PvP over the years can totally understand where I'm coming from. Because yeah, Medicham and Lickitung take a lot of Stardust and a lot of candy to get up to their max level. Then we've got good ranked Eevee gang, so just all my good ranked shiny Eevees. Got Rainbow Kanto. This is probably one of my favourite tags visually, just all the Pokemon from Kanto Cups that are shiny, and of course these are all double moved. Then we've got Transfer to Home, so a lot of shiny Pokemon that I'll eventually transfer to home, but for now I'm just keeping them in Go. If we're talking about Pokemon, we can't forget Pikachu. So in my tags I have 33 of the 40 something, I think it's around there, 40 Pikachu costumes, and just for some ease of use I've named them all what they are. So Santa Pika, Party Pika, Ash Hat, Witch, Summer, Fragment, Flower, Beanie, Detective, Straw, Red Party Hat, Spring, and yeah, I think you get the idea. But the Pikachu that I haven't added in here are my shiny Pikachus. So I will type in shiny and Pikachu. Here we have, I've got 7. And my first Shundo Pikachu. This is my first Shundo ever. So it's pretty awesome that it's a Pikachu out of all the Pokemon that are available. So we've got the Party Hat. We've got the May from the recent Hoenn Tour. We've got the Brendan from the recent Hoenn Tour. I've got the Christmas one that I managed to catch during Christmas. And then we've got 2 Shaman Scarf Pikachus that are shiny. And last but not least in this video, we've got my Sentimental Pokemon. So these are Pokemon that may not be shiny, may not be hundreds, but they hold a special place in my heart for events that have happened through the years. And I think everyone should have these type of Pokemon in their collection, especially in Pokemon Go where you transfer quite a lot of Pokemon. So to start off, we've got my 98% Eradicate. So this would be 100% if I purified it, but I evolved it to get me to level 40, so I think that's such a special way to keep it at the shadow that it was. Here we've got Car Snake. I remember being in a car park with some friends and just tapping on an Ekans and it just randomly being shiny. I don't know why that memory stuck with me, but I've just called it Car Snake and thought it was a cool memory that I have. This is my very first shiny that I caught with the Plus. It's a Diglett. And I was on my way to university at the time. I didn't use my Plus that often, but when I went to check my account after I got into school, I was so surprised when I saw a Diglett. This Mankey is the only Mankey I caught when I went to my trip on Dubai. You would have thought I'd catch a couple more Pokemon, but Mankey seemed to be the only one that I actually kept. This Ponyta, I went for a walk with my mum last year and I managed to get a shiny Galarian Ponyta. Now, this Rhydon is very cool because it was during Community Day and I was so close to getting my 50,000th catch. So I figured I better make it a shiny. And, well, here it is. Got my Spanish Bull, Tauros. So originally Tauros, I don't think you could ever get them in Spain because it was a regional, but having one from Spain I think is such a good play on where you'd think bulls come from, something like that. We've got a Ditto from Indonesia, so I've kept all my Dittos from the places that I've been internationally. I've got a Romanian Ditto. It's very rare, I guess, if you don't live in Romania. Got a shiny Farah. I'd been wanting shiny Sentret for what felt like years, and then one day randomly I just opened the app and there it was. I've got Perish, my Politoed, and Politoed's certainly my favourite Pokemon. I think I named him Perish based off Perish song in the original games. I've got Ascot. This is my very first Politoed. And we've got my favourite shiny, as you can probably tell. because I've best buddied him. So this Elekid was the very first Pokemon that I hatched for the new year, back in Pokemon Go's very first year. So I figured this was before tagging existed, as you can see with the 2017 mark. This Larvitar was the only Pokemon I managed to keep when I went to Greece back in 2017. And Boltoy, yes, he's the MVP. So trying to get Celebi the first time, I needed to catch Psychic Pokemon, and luckily for me, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, so I shouldn't have been out, but luckily there was a bunch of Boltoys everywhere. So if it wasn't for this Boltoy, I wouldn't have been able to catch Celebi when I snuck out and did. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate the support, and I hope you found something interesting about the video. If you did, comment it down below, down there. Thanks again, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.